So I just did one of these videos where I look forward to a bunch of figures coming down the pipe. But not only on the day I did that did new announcements and leaks drop, not only did more come out the next day, but like an idiot, I forgot to cover ones that not only had been known for months, but I actually managed to forget to cover the figures that I made that whole video expressly to cover. I forgot to talk about the whole point of the video. How am I this dumb? And why do you all care what I have to say when I'm a proven idiot? Jolt! Yeah, so this is not one of the ones I know you all want me to talk about. No, the ones that you all want to see will come later in the video. I'm an idiot, and a sadistic one at that. Why do you watch me? I can't pretend that I care about this thing even 1%. I didn't even realize this character existed. Even when this figure was announced in the Studio series, I didn't put enough thought into it to realize that that meant that this was from one of the movies. So, what can I say about this thing when I know literally nothing about it except for the way it looks? Well, for starters, I suppose at the very least, it's got nice punchy colors. So many of the movie characters are gray, black, brown, gunmetal, silver, and tan, so a nice vibrant blue does stick out. Hate his hands. No sentient species would have hands with such an extreme lack of dexterity as those, let alone a species that could easily replace body parts to get improved functionality like Cybertronians. The weapons are stupid, whatever they're supposed to be. And oh look, they can tab onto the side of the car and look terrible. Nice! This car is also lame, and you know me, I like it when they don't have to be the coolest thing ever, but I think this is one of those really lame looking cars that people insist is cool, so that's actually just regular lame. Outside that, it's got a monster backpack, and it's got some of the strangest bumper kibble I think I've ever seen. I don't know if that's part of the character design from the movie or whatever, but I don't like it. Then we got Dino, another character that slipped right past me and I didn't realize existed until this figure was announced. I wouldn't even be covering this thing or the previous figure in this video at all if there weren't a sizable number of people in the comments section asking me to do a review on these guys. I'm sorry, but no, I will not be wasting my money on either of these. Why is it that from what I hear, this red character with the name Dino or whatever, who has arm blades, no cannon, and a completely different alt mode is supposed to be Mirage? That endlessly confuses me. But at least I suppose the movie decided to make him its own character rather than screw up the actual one, like they should have done with the rest of the characters since the beginning, that look and act nothing like their counterparts in any media, so I suppose I'm grateful for that at least. This one does actually just turn into a cool car, which either they did a bad job translating here, or doesn't actually exist. At the very least, I've never seen anything that looks like this before. Again, movie design, don't care. But for some reason, the whole part of this thing that actually really offends me is these collar pieces. I don't know what it is about their wavy, swooped nature and the way they jut off his clavicle, but it sticks right up my nose. I almost want to buy one of these things just so I can break this part off. It's such an inconsequential thing, but I fucking hate this part. I don't know why it annoys me so bad, but it does. Now let's talk about the red reformatted Megatron. You know me, I think the red line is stupid and pointless, but this is actually kind of really cool. Yeah, it's silly and kind of ugly, but it's a really unique idea, it's a smart thing for the line to cover considering that there's no reason to transform it even if it could, and it's such an iconic moment. I will say though that they made a huge mistake by not putting the head at least partly through the reformatting process. I don't really know why they bothered giving it all these accessories from the normal version though. I know this is a cheap and easy repaint, but it's not like if you are one of the people who would buy this, you are actually going to pose this thing fighting Optimus with its laser mace. This exists solely to be a representation of a single instant in the G1 continuity. If they wanted to include accessories, they should have given him an alternate head, and maybe some rubber goopus to coat him in on the way to becoming Galvatron. And this, once again, really kind of raises the question as to who this line is for. It's not good enough for collectors, but if this were for children not old enough to handle actual transformations, then the weird purple Megatron that's meant to be left standing in a single pose to represent one scene from a movie that would probably scar them for life does not seem like it was meant for them. Once again, I have to conclude that this line is for nobody. If Hasbro bothered making these better, they might be good enough for collectors. But if they consistently went for serious stylizations or depictions like this, then they might find a market. But currently, it's just bad non-transforming versions of figures that often pose worse than their transforming counterparts, and they don't even tend to nail the looks. But what do you expect from the designer of the Kingdom Rhinox? Red Optimus Primal. Another completely pointless red figure. This doesn't look any better in any significant way than the Kingdom figure. It doesn't have the chest gap, that is the one improvement this thing has going for it, and to get that, it gave up its ability to transform. A lot of people are questioning if this is based off the Netflix show, and I do have to say that I don't quite see it except for the colors in the head. But I should point out that that's not the typical direction these things go. The Transformer shows are commercials. They are meant to advertise why you should care about a product you can buy. Almost universally, when a show is made, the character designs are based off the toys, not the other way around. But that does put Kingdom in a bit of a conundrum, because a lot of the designs are clearly not based on the Kingdom toy line itself. As some are mashups of 2 or more figures, some are just based on the red figure, some are based on really old figures, and some seem to be based on nothing at all. So it's possible that this one time the showrunners were so incompetent that they ended up having to create figures to look like the show just to try to have some brand synergy. Though again, I don't quite see that as being necessary because the difference between this and the actual Kingdom figure is intensely negligible. How is it that they made the arm cannons look even more pathetic than on the Kingdom figure? Also, boy, those fists are ugly the way that they are clearly going to pop off at a weird spot to have a rotation and hand swap gimmick, meaning that this is only going to have as much articulation as the regular Kingdom figure as opposed to the added range of most Red figures. Actually, scratch that. It's going to have even less than the Kingdom figure because it doesn't have opening hands. Why would you not include those? This would look just as good with hands that open and close, and you wouldn't have the extra parts forming. This whole figure is an awful idea. Oh my god, look at this fucking nonsense. He can't even hold his swords with the blades facing forwards. This piece of literal dog shit is so bad that even though they have separate swappable hands for the express purpose of holding these swords and these swords alone, and they can't even manage that. Opening hands would have actually done this job better and been cheaper since you aren't producing a whole extra set of hands. And he still can't adequately swing his swords without real wrists. The red line is as incompetently made as the Netflix show. These two pieces of crap deserve each other. I can't believe Hasbro has never fired or demoted this idiot. Everything he touches is shit. Let's be fair, he's in charge of the red line. That doesn't mean he designed every single figure in it, even if he is responsible for it. And you know, this does look more like the character than that idiot's normal work. So maybe this was designed by somebody else. But how did this reach us in this condition? Oh my god, I just noticed the fake transformation seams meant to imply that this is the Masterpiece figure. That does lead credence to this being based off the show, as why would they fake this being the MP if it weren't based on the show that's based on the Masterpiece? The red line serves no function, it has no reason to exist. It does just about everything worse than regular figures. Just let it die, Hasbro. You have to be hemorrhaging money through it. Let's talk about the character artworks they revealed. Pipes. This is obviously going to be a retool of the Huffer figure, but interestingly enough, it looks like you are going to be able to flip the cab of his truck around backwards as opposed to the Huffer. I hope this is true because this would really help this stand out and make it a better figure. Weirdly enough, they seem to have given him a second set of smokestacks in the form of arm cannons, I guess so that way he can live up to the name Pipes. Shadow Panther. Clearly just a retool of Cheetor with a different head based on the original Cheetor Toys mutant head. I can't tell how accurate any of this art is going to be because while the shins are clearly based on the Kingdom figure, the feet are based on the Red figure. And the hands echo the Red figure as well. The chest is also clearly of a different design. I would not be surprised to find out that there is a red Shadow Panther in the works. Slammer. We are not getting a final fossilizer in Kingdom, we are getting Slammer for Wave 4, who, like Brunt before him, is now being given a robot mode. From this robot mode, it doesn't look like he is going to turn into the vehicle mode he is known for though. So I want to bring up this thing. How did I not know this was a thing? How did I not know that there was a Transformers branded train set from the 80s? This really seems like it should have been something I was informed of long ago. Thanks to OptimusGarcia for this bit of knowledge. I feel like if they redid Astro Train in the Generation Selects line to be this, it would make almost too much sense. Speaking of things that they should make, how is there no Boof in Kingdom? How is it that there is no good doggo like one of these in the Beast Wars line? Hasbro, you are leaving money on the table. Put man's best friend into Kingdom. You don't even got Silverbolts up in here. Raise your game. We also have a leaked Masterpiece Nightbird based on the MPRC. So we have a character almost no one cares about based on a figure no one likes, who for the third time is based on an RC mode with a car alt mode when she didn't have any to begin with. Do I have to point out how this is the perfect example of something that should actually be in the red line? A highly posable character that never had an alt mode in the first place. How is some dickhole on the internet like me better at this than the multi-billion-dollar company? Okay, the sweeps. I don't know what I expected. I guess it's just that if you hear Hasbro is retooling the Scourge figure to make it the sweeps, you expect them to do more than just change the left fist! They also altered the box art, and I can't think of a more pointless waste of money. You had to change more tooling for the box than the figure itself. Alright, it's time to talk about one of the things you guys really care about. Though not the one that really should have been in the previous video. Tigertron. This looks pretty solid. Its head is much more the correct shape here than the Cheetor. It's nice and reasonably sized. It's not just a simple retool of the Cheetor. The two things I don't like are the yellow. That just looks gross. I would have much preferred a clean white rather than this realistic yellowing. It looks like something peed on him. And there's also clearly no neck on this thing too. And the other thing I don't like is the face. Yes, it's very much his face, but I don't know. Is it just me or does it look like he's puffing out his upper lip? Alright, time for the moment you've all been waiting 2 entire videos for. Time for the thing I literally made the previous looking forward video to talk about. Time to finally talk about Space Bumblebee. Oh god, it's more beautiful than I ever imagined! It's not yet another Cliffjumper retool, it's its own thing! I don't even care that it faux forms. The original design in the show totally actually did that because the animators were lazy and just made it look like he turned into a Volkswagen Beetle, despite the fact that he turned into a flying saucer. In the main picture, you can clearly see that he's rocking the jetpack it says he can have on the box. He's also coming with the fuel rods, so that's awesome too. It looks like the chest is becoming the bumper, but I have to ask where these sides are coming from. I'm not seeing a lot of panel lines, so I'm not sure how they are going to work. I swear this better not be a huge parts forming piece. I don't even know how that would work, considering you can't even see panel lines on the cockpit, and that's clearly on his back. I don't think this is going to parts form, and it looks phenomenal. This is what I've been begging for since Siege, and to finally see that we're getting it is so satisfying. Based on the box though, he looks like he is going to be real small. Like actual Legend small or smaller. I hope it's at least as big as that crappy cliff jumper, but I can't be too upset at it. This is everything that I wanted. It looks like it's doing a great job at it, and I'm just so stoked to see it. I'm glad I don't have to play coy about how much I like this anymore. How the hell did I forget to talk about this last time? It was the whole point of the damn video! And that's not half of what I have to say, but it's enough of what I have to say. And I know, you know, what everyone else tells you to do at the end of these videos. So, if you liked what you saw here, please do that. And if you'd like to take it a step further, then please share this video with any friend you think may be interested. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me waste your time.